I know that I've mentioned this before, how it came to pass that I now live in the same house that I grew up in. We moved out in the late 1990s, right after I graduated high school, right around the same time that my parents split up. I moved back in 10 years ago in 2015 with my wife and daughter, who was a toddler at the time, and we've since had a second daughter. This is what the house looked like back in the 1980s when I was a kid. Check out my mom's flowers. She always had a green thumb. This photo was taken on the day of my grade 8 graduation. For a gift, I received a metal detector. As I said, my mom had a green thumb, but she always seemed to run out of wrapping paper at the worst time. This gift ignited my lifelong interest in metal detectors. In fact, all these years later, and I still own one, but more on that later. This story is about our backyard deck. Here's the deck in the 1990s. This is the oldest video of the deck that I could find. By 2025, the deck was in sad shape. It was rotting and was really far gone. Honestly, it had been bad since we moved in back in 2015. We had always just resurfaced it with fence boards as Band-Aid solutions. So the deck was over 30 years old. There's Grandma Evans looking very sharp one Easter. We had a lot of parties on the deck over the years. In fact, if you went to Vincent Massey High School in the 1990s, there's a really good chance that you stood on that deck at one point. Here's a nice shot of Shannon's perm. There's some of the boys, Maine and Frybird. Here's my boy Brooke. There's my brother and I getting ready on prom night. My dad and I posing on the deck. There's me by the original backyard pond in the spring of 1997, and more on the pond later. And there's Wardy and I in our Hawaiian hippie face, which never ended. But the deck now had to go. It was long overdue. We hired a professional to build the new deck, but to save a little bit of money, I said that I would do the demolition. Plus, it would give me some extra time to rip it out and then have a good look around underneath. You know, for any loose change or other trinkets that had fallen through the cracks over the past 30 plus years. The combination of the fence boards laying diagonally over the horizontal deck boards meant that very little had fallen through the cracks over the past 10 or 15 years, at least since we had moved back in. I was thinking that any coins I found under the deck would be older than about 2010 or perhaps even older than that. It's going good. How are you? And look, the kids decided to give me a hand with the demolition work. To my surprise, they both loved doing it. That deck was so rotten, it was actually very easy to take it apart. I had a small recollection that under the deck there was an old cement porch, but other than the porch, I couldn't remember anything else that was underneath the deck. I had honestly forgotten about the sidewalk. This sidewalk had been covered up for 30 plus years, like everything else, and the other sections of it had been torn out already to make way for different patios. And now, after seeing it, my memories started to flow back. As soon as the deck was gone, I busted out the metal detector and started to sweep over the dirt. And the kids got into the metal detecting with me. I thought that I had some old family photos of the backyard before the deck was built, so I had a look through some old family albums. And look, photos of me as a toddler in diapers walking in the backyard enjoying some Cracker Jacks. It was time to start detecting. I was hopeful that I'd find something of personal interest or significance to me buried in the dirt. I was not yet grasping all of the possibilities of things that I might find. My first find, a quarter. And then this, a child's toy gun, a Derringer. Some more coins, a beer cap. This one was from the dawn of the twist top era. A toonie from 1996. That's the toonie's first year of production. Here's a tarnished silver dime from 1982. Here's a strange one. This is a penny from the Bahamas. Here's a Canadian centennial penny with a seagull on it. The oldest coin that I found was an American penny from the 1960s. All in all, not a bad stack of coins. And the toy gun was also pretty cool to see. I was happy with the haul. It had not yet occurred to me that there was no way that the toy gun could have ever fallen through the deck cracks. It must have been in the ground before the deck was built, so older than 30 years. So Dennis started to dig up some of the dirt that was under there to fill in the holes left by the concrete that he had pulled out, and while he was digging holes, he found this, a toy Smurf. Now this was a toy that I remembered very well. I loved the Smurfs. My first record album ever was a Smurfs record. The Smurfs had been huge back in the early 1980s. I studied the Smurf up and down to see if there was any manufacturing information on it, and I found some writing on the foot. Made in West Germany, that's a surprise. It turns out that this Smurf was made in West Germany in the late 1970s. It's known as the Hunting Smurf. A backyard birthday party in the early 1980s. My brother and I, my Grandpa White with his Old English D tiger hat on, and check out the stubby of Old Vienna beer beside him. There's my big brother James opening his birthday presents, and little me playing with the bow. It's this photo that I want you to see. Take a look at what one of the gifts is. It's a Smurf. Now, I'm not saying it's the same Smurf. It's probably not, but it's still a pretty cool connection. We had several Smurf toys over the years. And here, another photo and another Smurf. The Smurf discovery was just the beginning, though. Here's the rest of the relics that we found buried in the ground under the deck. It turns out that there had been a sandbox buried under the ground and then buried under the deck. A 40-something-year-old sandbox from when I was just a toddler. And here's what I think happened, and my slightly older brother James supports this theory. We had a sandbox, but when we got a dog when I was 4, we had to get rid of the sandbox, and quickly, because our dog Sarah kept digging it up. This one's cool, a Batman water pistol from the 1970s. And it still works! And here's my favorite relic, a Master Yoda Star Wars action figure from 1980, with the belt still attached. The only thing missing was Yoda's cloth cloak, and it probably disintegrated a long time ago. I was blown away by these discoveries. Dennis gets most of the credit for finding these items, but I had told him about the coins that I found with the metal detector, along with the Derringer. And from then on, Dennis made it his mission to find more hidden treasures. The old sandbox had been buried under the ground and then covered by the deck for decades. I could not have been happier with all of these discoveries. Memories flooded back from those early years of my childhood, and for my brother, it was even more significant. And here's the deck that Dennis built for us. We're very pleased. Okay, back to my prom photos, specifically the photos of me posing by the backyard pond. Aside from my bleach blonde hair, the cane and the top hat, there's something else that I want you to see. Check out what's behind me. Actually, two things. There's a large cement bird bath and a frog statue. Here's the funny thing. When I moved back into the house 10 years ago, the bird bath and the frog statue were still there. When we moved out in the winter of 1998, we didn't even think about the bird bath or the frog statue. We didn't take them with us. 1, 2, 3 different owners of this house between 1997 and 2014, and no one got rid of these items. I love that. I mean, why bother getting rid of them? These days, I set up a camera in front of the bird bath, and the footage I get provides me with hours of entertainment. It's led me to capture footage of dozens of separate bird species and counting. Oh, and not just birds, there's plenty of other critters. I have other cameras set up as well, and while some of them do serve as security cameras, the nature that I've captured with these cameras is far more interesting to me. Dedicated to my family and friends, and to many more memorable times.